Hi, I'm Motivated Max. I wake up at 5 a.m. every single day. I step on my walking treadmill disc at exactly 5:15, and you already know,
I'm hitting my work with maximum energy, so I start my day off right, and then after 2 hours of deep work, I get my workout in. Of course, I'm hitting PRs every single time, super easy. And finally, I get to eat breakfast. I cook myself the best all-steak breakfast with a huge smile on my face because everything's so easy. Now I'm ready to tackle the rest of my day, and it's not even 10 a.m. yet.
Now you're probably thinking, the Motivated Max is kind of crazy, and you know what? You'd be right. Like, the funny thing is that you probably think that me and maybe other successful people that you may idolize live like this every single day, and that you should be living like this every single day as well. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because the truth is that you can't rely on motivation. Because just like any other emotion, motivation comes and goes. It's inconsistent. So in this video, I'll be sharing what you should be relying on instead so you can accomplish what you want in life, be it starting a business, scaling a business, getting in shape, or whatever else. But first, let's dive into the actual problem with motivation. Have you ever started a workout even though you really didn't feel like it? If you're anything like me, it's probably leg day. But once you got your first reps in, your heart starts pumping faster, you're feeling good, and then at the end of the workout, you literally feel like a champ and you're glad that you did it. There's this great quote I once read, and that goes like, action precedes motivation, not the other way around. So you need to stop treating motivation as a requirement for action and instead treat it like a random bonus that sometimes gets dropped as a loot and sometimes it doesn't. The problem is though, mainstream conditioning hasn't taught us that, so we're constantly falling for the wrong way of using motivation. We first seek motivation, then we take action once we're feeling motivated, but then inevitably motivation dips again, which means our action dips, which means our results dip, which make us feel really bummed out. So we're now creating a downward spiral of even less motivation, which leads to less action, less results, even less motivation, and so on and so forth. But you also can't just rest, because all you have left is feeling guilty that you're not progressing and now you're getting burnt out. Oh damn, Max, well, how do I get out of that downward spiral? Like, there's gotta be something that I can rely on instead to get into that upward spiral, right? Yep, there is something, it's just that nobody's talking about it. Well, almost nobody, except for this guy and a few other people, and that something is...
I don't care how good you are in anything, you don't have discipline, you ain't nobody.
Right.
You're nothing without discipline, because you give up under the slightest struggle without discipline.
100%.
I mean, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it.
Doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it. That is a great quote. And if you can do that, you can be successful in anything.
You know, you normally are.
Here's the crazy part though. Discipline isn't just the key to success, it's also the key to long-term happiness. Pay attention now. Treat discipline as the precursor to action that it actually is. And this one's hard because it's usually not shown on social media or in Hollywood movies. People just show the jet skis, the Lambos, the Bugattis, the first class flights. But it's not just that, because that's the end result. Here's the crazy thing though, every single millionaire or multimillionaire that I've met in my entire life, they love what they do and they're very disciplined about almost every single aspect in their life. It's just that usually that gets shown much less on their brand, on social media, and so on and so forth. Why? Because people don't care. I mean, there's been literally years where the entirety of my posts on Instagram would just be me in front of my freaking laptop, just grinding, just every day, just doing the same thing every day, waking up, grinding, treadmill desk, eating, gym, grinding. I would just do this for years. My brand would suffer quite a lot. So what do I have to do? I have to sprinkle in cool, interesting things just to keep everybody entertained or hooked enough to actually be consuming my content, to actually then find out through long-form videos like this that hustling is actually also great and can be a lot of fun. So I kind of want my brand to stand for, hey, you want to have cool end results and enjoy life, well then also enjoy the work that you need to put in to get there in the first place. All right? Okay, great. So discipline is the answer. How can I build discipline, Max? Well, it's very, very awesome because discipline is a literal muscle. In fact, it's residing in the prefrontal cortex. That's the area of your brain right behind your maybe as huge as mine forehead. Maybe that's how I got such a huge forehead, from all the training in my prefrontal cortex. This area of the brain is like any other muscle, which means you can train it. How do you train it? You train it by starting slowly, doing things that are uncomfortable for you every single day. What I did through a majority of my 20s was I took a cold shower every day. Why? Because you turn that cold shower on, it's cold, it's freezing, you're shivering, you really don't want to step underneath that, but you do it anyway. Congratulations, ka-ching, you just got +5 in discipline, so to speak. That's how you can imagine it. And over time, you can push that muscle more and more and more and more and more, almost like a boxing champion or a marathon runner. You have a very, very strong discipline muscle, and you can then use that discipline to actually work harder. So that is how you build up discipline. But it gets even better. Remember how earlier I said discipline is also the key to long-term happiness? Well, there's this great Twitter quote I once threw out: nothing beats falling into bed after a full day spending energy on working out, creating value, walking, laughing, helping others, pushing your biz, learning. Life is a gift to be experienced through hard work, not pleasure. So discipline is not only the key to hard work, but it's also the key to enjoying the process, my friend. You can literally make yourself addicted to hard work, and that addiction is making you happier than any drug, any amount of money, any crazy sexual experience you can ever imagine. Now, here's how to apply that. You work on your discipline, which means you take more action, you can work harder. That leads to habits, meaning the same things you're doing every day, and that leads to more and more results. Now, when you get the results, which could be your first client, your first 10K a month, your first 50K a month, your first hire, your first, 20 pounds off, your first girl that smiled at you even though you always thought you were ugly, right? All these things give you positive reinforcement, which means you're gonna work even harder and develop even more discipline, and boom, now you're part of an upward spiral. So there's an increase in your discipline muscle, which leads to an increase in your action, which leads to an increase in the dopamine that you're getting from winning. It's now an upward spiral and not a downward spiral. But wait, because it gets even better. Now, hear me out. So when I first started working on myself, I was a very shy, awkward guy in his early 20s. Then I got inspired by YouTube videos of a creator named Owen Cook. He's one of the greatest personal development and dating advice coaches out there in the world. And after being inspired to take action by his videos, I actually got hired as his unpaid assistant. So I went from fanboy watching all his YouTube videos to actually meeting him in person and working for him in person, which was great. And as Owen's assistant, I actually met another hugely influential and very, very successful YouTuber in the personal development space, and that guy is Elliot Hulse. You might know him. So I met him as an assistant. I was, unpaid, didn't really build anything for myself. And then years later, I actually became one of the world's most best paid and most well-renowned dating coaches in the world. I was traveling the world, I was on the world tour and all that jazz. And then I met Elliot Hulse again, I think 1 or 2 years later. And he literally said, "You've come a long way, my man. You've been building your own kingdom. I've been watching you." Like, that's literally how he speaks. And I was like, oh my God, first of all, he remembers me, that's cool. And second of all, he acknowledges the fact that I've kind of built my own brand within that time, which is really, really key. Now, here comes the moral of the story. Your discipline, your hard work can and will become a source of inspiration to others. So just like Owen Cook and Elliot Hulse inspired me to take action, I then built my own brand, which later on made me my first million as an online coach, and that inspired others. So what you need to realize is, at some point, you're not just in that upward spiral for yourself, you're actually expanding it to inspire people around you, your friends, your family, your cousin, your brother, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, whatever it is. And now you actually are all part of this wonderful upward spiral, and you're growing together. And you'll never realize how sometimes just a small comment on this tiny YouTube channel or on my Instagram can literally remind me of that beautiful upward spiral, and now I'm getting inspired back by you. So if you've watched so far, drop a like, drop a comment. That's really, really cool. I really appreciate it. We got like 200 subscribers on this channel or something like that. So ultimately, you have the choice. Your life is at a crossroads where you can choose to go down one of two paths. The path of motivation leads to you taking a little bit of action and then no action anymore, and now you get no results and you're in a downward spiral. Or you choose the path of discipline, which will lead you to take action to get awesome results. Now you get addicted to that. Now you get even more results. It leads to happiness. It leads to inspiring you, and it leads to inspiring others, and you're creating upward spirals everywhere. So if you believe you have the discipline, then I want to challenge you, because in this video right here, I talk about how you can make an extra about 10 to 20K a month starting a digital coaching or consulting business or service providing business. So let's see what you got. Go watch that and I'll see you there.